7 habits that keep you poor forever. Have you ever wondered why some people work incredibly hard their entire lives, yet still struggle financially? It's a question worth asking, because the answer might completely change your financial future. Did you know that 64% of Americans will retire with less than $10,000 in savings? That's not a typo. Despite decades of working, most people end up with almost nothing to show for it. But here's what's truly shocking. This financial struggle isn't primarily about how much money these people earn during their working years. The uncomfortable truth is that financial success has surprisingly little to do with your income. We've all seen people making 6 figures who still live paycheck to paycheck, while others with modest salaries manage to build significant wealth over time. The difference isn't what they earn. It's the financial habits they practice consistently year after year. In today's video, I'll reveal the 7 destructive habits that silently keep millions of Americans trapped in a cycle of financial struggle, regardless of their income level. These aren't dramatic mistakes like gambling away your savings or making wild investments. They're everyday patterns that seem normal, even responsible, yet virtually guarantee you'll never achieve true financial freedom. Stay until the end for the most dangerous wealth-killing habit of all, one that financial experts immediately recognize in their clients, but most Americans don't even realize they're doing. What financial habits are you trying to change this year? Type breaking habits in the comments if you're working to improve your financial future. Let me share with you the first destructive financial habit that keeps millions of Americans trapped in a cycle of financial struggle, no matter how much they earn. Spending first, saving what's left, if anything. I'll save whatever's left at the end of the month. How many times have you told yourself this? It seems logical. Pay the bills, enjoy life a little, then put aside whatever remains. But here's the problem. For most people, there's rarely anything left. The uncomfortable truth is that most Americans are living in a financial illusion. A recent Federal Reserve survey found that 78% of American workers live paycheck to paycheck, including many earning 6 figures. Why? Because expenses invariably expand to consume available income. When you wait to save what's left after spending, the result is almost always zero savings, regardless of income level. Consider Maria's story. As her salary grew from $45,000 to $95,000 over 10 years, she consistently planned to save once things settled down. But with each raise came new expenses, a nicer apartment, a better car, more dining out. Despite more than doubling her income, her savings remained near zero because she always spent first and intended to save later. Meanwhile, her colleague Thomas, earning significantly less, accumulated over $110,000 during the same period by automatically saving 15% of every paycheck before spending a dime. The solution isn't complicated, but it requires reversing the sequence. Pay yourself first. Before paying bills, before groceries, before anything else, automatically transfer a percentage of your income to savings and investments. Start with just 5% if necessary, gradually increasing to 15 to 20%. What you'll discover is surprising. Your lifestyle naturally adjusts to what remains, just as it currently expands to consume everything available. Make this automatic by setting up transfers to occur the day your paycheck arrives. This small change in sequence, saving first rather than last, has transformed more financial lives than perhaps any other single habit. As financial advisor David Bach says, it's not about being rich, it's about paying yourself first. This poor financial sequencing connects directly to our second wealth-destroying habit, one that creates an illusion of prosperity while guaranteeing long-term poverty. Buying luxuries with borrowed money. We've all seen them. People driving luxury cars, wearing designer clothes, and taking exotic vacations that their income seemingly couldn't support. What's their secret? Usually it's debt, and it's a path that leads directly away from true wealth. Here's the devastating reality. Purchasing depreciating assets with borrowed money creates a double financial drain. You're not just losing the purchase amount, you're also paying interest while the item itself loses value. That $50,000 finance car doesn't just cost $50,000. With interest and depreciation, it might effectively cost $70,000 over 5 years while being worth just $20,000 at the end. This mathematical disaster is why so many Americans work decades without building a net worth. Take James, who appeared successful with his luxury SUV, designer wardrobe, and frequent vacations. His $85,000 salary seemed sufficient for his lifestyle, but few realize he carried $67,000 in consumer debt with over $1,200 in monthly payments. While looking prosperous, he was actually transferring his wealth to banks through interest payments rather than building his own financial foundation. The wealthier approach is surprisingly simple. Buy luxuries with saved money, not borrowed money, and only after your financial foundation is secure. Warren Buffett exemplifies this principle. Despite being one of the world's richest individuals, he lived in the same modest house he bought in 1958 and drove mid-range vehicles for decades. This wasn't deprivation. It was prioritization of financial security over displays of wealth. For practical implementation, follow this sequence. First, build emergency savings and retirement investments, then save separately for major purchases. When you finally buy that nicer car or take that special vacation with cash, you'll enjoy it far more knowing it's not creating future financial stress. Remember, true wealth is measured by your net worth, not by what you display to the world. This focus on appearances rather than substance connects directly to our third wealth-destroying habit, not having a clear financial plan. If you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. This old saying perfectly captures why so many hardworking Americans never achieve financial security. Without a specific destination and roadmap, financial decisions become random, emotional, and often counterproductive. The sobering truth is that failing to plan is quite literally planning to fail when it comes to money. Research from Charles Schwab found that people with written financial plans are twice as likely to save adequately for retirement and 60% more likely to pay bills on time and have emergency savings compared to those without plans. Yet barely 1/3 of Americans have any written financial plan. Consider Robert and Susan, a couple earning a combined $110,000 annually. For years, they managed money reactively, paying bills as they arrived, saving sporadically when possible, and making major purchase decisions based primarily on whether the monthly payment seemed affordable. Despite good incomes, they approached age 50 with minimal retirement savings and persistent credit card debt. When they finally created a detailed financial plan with specific goals and timelines, their entire relationship with money transformed. Within 5 years, they eliminated $28,000 in consumer debt, established a 6-month emergency fund, and quadrupled their retirement contributions. The solution doesn't require complex spreadsheets or financial advisors, though professional help can be valuable. Start by defining what financial success means to you with specific numbers and dates. $50,000 in emergency savings by December 2027 is far more effective than build emergency savings. Then work backward to determine the monthly actions needed to achieve each goal. Review this plan quarterly, adjusting as necessary while maintaining focus on your priorities. Do you have a written financial plan for the next 5 years? Type "Planning Matters" in the comments if you're committed creating or updating your financial roadmap this month. This absence of planning often accompanies our fourth wealth-destroying habit, one that virtually guarantees you'll remain financially vulnerable regardless of income. Avoiding financial education. I'm just not good with money. Financial stuff is too complicated. I'll let my spouse/advisor handle that. These common statements reveal a destructive habit that keeps millions trapped in financial mediocrity, the avoidance of financial knowledge. The uncomfortable truth is that financial ignorance is extraordinarily expensive. A study from the National Financial Educators Council found that lacking financial knowledge costs the average American $1,634 annually through unnecessary fees, high interest rates, and poor financial decisions. Over a lifetime, this ignorance tax can exceed $100,000, and that doesn't include the opportunity cost of misinvestments or growth. Consider Margaret, a successful pediatrician earning over $200,000 annually. Despite her medical expertise, she avoided learning about investments, believing they were too complex. She delegated all financial decisions to an advisor who placed her in high-fee mutual funds and unnecessary insurance products. After 12 years, a review revealed she had paid over $85,000 in avoidable fees and commissions. Money that can significantly accelerate her path to financial independence. The solution doesn't require becoming a financial expert or understanding complex derivatives. Start with fundamentals through accessible resources like The Simple Path to Wealth by J.L. Collins or I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit Sethi. Dedicate just 30 minutes weekly to financial learning, perhaps during commutes via podcasts like Choosify or The Dave Ramsey Show. The goal isn't comprehensive knowledge, but developing enough understanding to recognize good advice, avoid common pitfalls, and make confident decisions. Remember, those who profit from financial ignorance are highly motivated to maintain it. The financial industry thrives on complexity that makes consumers feel they need expensive guidance for even basic decisions. By developing fundamental knowledge, you significantly reduce your vulnerability to exploitation while improving your ability to build lasting wealth. This knowledge gap directly connects to our fifth wealth-destroying habit, one that keeps even high-income professionals financially fragile: having only one income stream. If your entire financial life depends on a single paycheck, you're not just financially vulnerable, you're one corporate decision away from potential disaster. Having only one income stream is like trying to cross a rickety bridge with no safety net. It might work, but the consequences of failure are severe. The revealing statistic that financial advisors often cite: the average millionaire has 7 income streams. This diversification isn't just about making more money. It's about creating financial stability and resilience against economic changes, industry disruptions, and personal circumstances. When one stream diminishes, others can compensate, providing both security and growth opportunities. Take Daniel's experience. A software engineer earning $125,000 annually. He felt financially secure until his company underwent restructuring. Within weeks, he joined thousands of tech workers suddenly competing for limited positions. Without other income sources, he quickly depleted his emergency fund during his 9-month job search. This experience prompted him to develop multiple streams. First through dividend-paying investments, then a weekend consulting business, and eventually rental property. 5 years later, these additional sources generated 35% of his total income, providing both security and accelerated wealth building. The practical approach doesn't mean quitting your job to start a business. Begin building secondary income streams gradually, focusing first on passive or semi-passive options, dividend-paying stocks, rental properties, possibly with property management, creating digital products like courses or ebooks or affiliate marketing. Start small, reinvest the profits to grow each stream, and aim to eventually have at least 3 distinct income sources. How many income streams do you currently have? Type income streams in the comments if you're working on developing additional sources of income. This dependence on a single income often accompanies our 6th wealth-destroying habit, one that repeatedly devastates amateur investors: following the crowd in investing. Everyone's making money in cryptocurrency/tech stocks/real estate. I need to get in now. This reactive, emotional approach to investing has predictable outcome: buying high when enthusiasm peaks, then selling low when fear takes over. It's a perfect formula for permanent wealth destruction. The harsh financial reality is that average investors consistently underperform the market by following the crowd. A landmark study by Dalbar found that while the S&P 500 averaged 10.2% annually over a 30-year period, the average equity fund investor earned just 3.7% annually, primarily due to trend chasing and emotional decision-making. This behavior gap costs investors more than half their potential returns over time. Consider what happened to countless amateur investors during the late 1990s tech bubble, the 2006 housing frenzy, or the 2021 cryptocurrency surge. Those who piled in near the peak, often leveraging debt to maximize their position, suffered devastating losses when markets corrected. Meanwhile, disciplined investors who maintained diversified portfolios and avoided the hype continued steadily building wealth. The wiser approach is embodied in Warren Buffett's famous advice: be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful. Rather than chasing performance, focus on consistent contributions to a diversified portfolio of low-cost index funds. When others are euphoric about investment opportunities, maintain extra caution. When markets drop and most investors panic, consider a potential buying opportunity. if your financial foundation remains solid. For practical implementation, automate regular investments into broad market index funds, regardless of current market conditions or headlines. This strategy, called dollar cost averaging, naturally buys more shares when prices are lower and fewer when they're higher, without requiring any special insight into market directions. This emotional approach to investing typically stems from our seventh and perhaps most destructive wealth-destroying habit, one that operates at the subconscious level: the victim's mindset about money. The system is rigged against people like me. You need money to make money. I'll never be rich because I wasn't born into the right family. These beliefs feel like realistic assessments of the world, but they function as self-fulfilling prophecies that guarantee financial struggle. The psychological truth that few discuss openly: your underlying beliefs about money and your relationship to it largely determine your financial outcomes. Stanford psychologist Carol Dweck's research on mindset shows that people who believe their situation is fixed and unchangeable fixed mindset consistently underperform those who believe they can improve through effort and learning growth mindset. This applies powerfully to financial behavior. James grew up in a household where money was always scarce and often discussed with anxiety. He internalized beliefs that wealth was for other people and that financial success required special connections or advantages he didn't have. Despite earning a good income as an architect, these unconscious beliefs manifested in self-sabotaging behaviors: postponing investing because it wouldn't make a difference, avoiding financial education because it wasn't for people like him, and making purchases that reinforce his identity as someone who would always struggle with money. The transformation begins with awareness. Start by examining your money stories. Where did your beliefs about wealth come from? What messages did you receive growing up? Which of these serve you and which limit you? Challenge negative financial beliefs by seeking evidence that contradicts them. Read biographies of self-made individuals from backgrounds similar to yours. Surround yourself with people who demonstrate healthy financial behaviors and attitudes. Most importantly, begin taking small actions that reinforce a new identity as someone who can and will achieve financial success. Each positive financial step, starting an investment account, learning about money management, reducing unnecessary expenses, builds evidence that counters limiting beliefs. Have you noticed how your mindset affects your financial decisions? Type mindset shift in the comments if you're ready to examine and change your underlying beliefs about money. We've now uncovered 7 destructive habits that silently keep millions of Americans trapped in financial struggle: spending first and saving what's left, buying luxuries with borrowed money, avoiding financial planning, neglecting financial education, relying on a single income stream, following investment crowds, and maintaining a victim mindset about money. The good news? Each of these habits can be changed starting today. Financial freedom isn't about extraordinary talent or luck. It's about consistently practicing behaviors that build wealth rather than destroy it. This week, I challenge you to honestly identify which of these habits might be holding you back. Then commit to changing just one. Perhaps it's setting up an automatic transfer to savings before you pay bills, dedicating 30 minutes weekly to financial education, or examining your beliefs about money and wealth. Remember, small changes applied consistently create remarkable results over time. Leave a comment saying "breaking habits" if this video helped you recognize patterns you're ready to change. Your comment might inspire others who are facing the same struggles. In our next video, I'll share the positive financial habits that can replace these wealth destroyers. The daily practices that consistently create millionaires regardless of starting income or educational background. Remember, your financial future isn't determined by where you start, how much you earn, or what happened in your past. It's shaped by the small decisions you make every single day. By replacing these 7 destructive habits with proven wealth-building behaviors, you're not just changing your bank balance. You're completely transforming your future and creating possibilities you might never have imagined.